Shadows, number 14. VTR 63066, air 71466. Take one.
My name is Victoria Winters. The dead past is still here in Collinwood. There's a connection here with my life, I know, and somehow I'll learn what it is. Perhaps through the boy I'll tutor. What are you doing in here? What do you have in your hand? David, what do you have in your hand? You took something. David, you took something from me. David, open this door. David, open the door right now. Do you hear me? David, I've had enough of this nonsense from you. If you don't open the door now, I'm going to get your father to do it for me. All right, if that's what you want. Now, what did you take from my room? Answer me, David. What did you take?
Nothing.
I don't believe you. You had something in your hand. What was it?
Nothing.
David, why are you like this with me? Look, I don't really care what you took. The important thing is you and me, David Collins and Victoria Winters. David, I want to be your friend. I know what it's like to be frightened. I grew up without a home. I had no one to turn to when I was lonely.
I'm not lonely.
Well, I am. I need friends, David. And I was counting on you. When your aunt hired me, she wanted me to help you, and now I'm asking you to help me.
How?
Oh, I don't know. By smiling at me now and then. Saying, Vicky, let's go for a walk together. By letting me comfort you when you're sad. And laughing with you when you're happy.
You think my mother's never going to come back?
Of course she will. And David, I know I can't take her place. I just want to be your friend. Nothing more.
I didn't take anything from your room.
All right.
You don't believe me, do you?
If that's what you say, then I believe you.
I'll prove it to you.
You don't have to do that.
I was giving you something. A present.
Oh.
I was going to surprise you when you started yelling at me.
Why should you want to give me a present?
Because Aunt Elizabeth told me to be nice to you. That's why. Here. I found it near the water.
It's very pretty. Are you sure you want to give it to me?
I said I was going to put it in your dresser drawer when you came into the room. You said you wanted to be friends, didn't you?
Yes, David. Thank you very much.
Now can I read my magazine?
Sure. Thank you again.
You're welcome.
Oh, Settle? I heard all that yelling and banging. Figured it was you and the little monster. What was it all about?
I don't know.
Where'd you get that?
David gave it to me. A peace offering, I think.
And you believe it?
You believed Burke Devlin, didn't you?
Oh, that's different. I mean, David's a kook. But Bert Devlin's a nice guy who just wants to be friends with the family.
You hope.
Oh, dear, that sounds like rain. There goes my hairdo. I've got a date tonight.
Carolyn, you're not going out with Burke Devlin, are you?
I wish I were.
3, 4, 5. I guess that squares us up. I'm sorry I forgot about it yesterday.
Keeping your credit good, Haskell?
Hello, Mr. Devlin.
Ooh, that's a sour greeting if I ever heard one. How about having a beer with me?
Thanks, but I don't have the time.
You're not sore about last night, are you, Joe?
Look, Mr. Devlin, with all that fuss yesterday, I forgot to pay my check. I just came by to do it. Now I've got to go.
One beer. How long will it take?
I told you last night I'm not interested in your propositions. Now, if you want to buy information about the people that live up in Collinwood, you have to go somewhere else.
I'm only offering to buy you a beer.
Thanks, but no thanks. You might as well know this, Mr. Devlin. I told the people up at Collinwood what you wanted from me.
You did?
Yeah, I don't know what you're after. But as long as it involves Carolyn or any member of her family, I want you to stay away from me.
But I'm not after a thing.
You tell it to them.
I did. Just about an hour ago. I had a long chat with Roger Collins and his sister and your little friend Carolyn. We're all pals again. No fights, no fuss, no worries.
How does it look?
You look beautiful, Carolyn. Where are you going with Joe?
I don't know. A movie, I suppose. What else can you do in this town?
Well, you can always have a fight in a bar.
One was enough, thank you. That's one place I think I'll stay away from for a while. Of course, if I thought Bert Devlin might be around to break it up again, that might be different.
You really like him, don't you?
Well, let's say he's a little different than most of the people you're likely to meet in Collinsport. hem ought to be shortened.
It looks fine to me. Carolyn, I wouldn't be too eager to join the Devlin Admiration Society if I were you.
Oh, stop worrying, Vicky. Mr. Devlin's leaving town in 2 days, so I'll just have to be satisfied with good old Joe.
Who happens to be in love with you.
Uh-huh. I think if I took off a half inch, it would look better. What do you think?
I think love is a good deal more important than charm.
Look, Vicky, I don't know how we got into this, but let's not make a big case out of it. Sure, I think Mr. Devlin's attractive and dynamic and charming, and he's been around, but that's the end of it. I brought him out here to make peace with Mother and Uncle Roger, and it worked. Chances are none of us will ever see him again, and it really couldn't matter less. Period. Exclamation point.
Well, your Uncle Roger's going to see him again.
Good for Uncle Roger. When?
Tonight. He asked him to have a drink with him at the Blue Whale.
Do you know what time?
What difference does that make?
No difference. No difference at all. Oh, that must be Joe. Be a doll, Vicky, and let him in while I change.
Well, what for? You look great in that dress.
Well, I think it's just a little too schoolgirlish. Tell him I'll be right down, will you?
Hello, come in.
Thank you.
Carolyn said she'd be right down. Can I take your coat?
Oh, yeah, thanks. You're Miss Winters, aren't you?
Yes,
My name's Haskell, Joe Haskell.
I know. I've heard
an
of...
awful- I guess we know a lot about each other.
I guess so. Carolyn says she's known you for years and years.
Ever since I was a kid. I'll never forget the first time I came up here. I was pretty scared.
Of what?
Oh, now don't tell me this house hasn't scared you a little bit. I used to think there'd be a spook in every corner.
Did you find one?
No, I stopped looking when I saw Carolyn. I figured flesh and blood was good enough for me. What about you, Miss Winters? Do you believe in ghosts?
No, I don't think so.
I don't either. Only the kind that you see in storybooks and movies. But if you don't believe in ghosts, what do you call that thing standing right behind you?
Don't you ever do that to me again.
I'm sorry, I just couldn't resist. But if you're going to go on living here, you might as well make up your mind that there are no spooks. Except beautiful ones that keep their dates waiting.
Hasn't been too long, has it?
When you look like that, 1 minute was too long. Hi, Cookie.
Hi. You two been getting acquainted?
Mr. Haskell's been telling me about ghosts.
Mr. Haskell? Joe? Vicky. And don't listen to him. He wouldn't believe in a ghost if it rattled its chains under his nose. Oh, we've got 'em. Ghosts and demons and 9-year-old monsters. Am I right?
Well, I think David and I are going to get along.
Lots of luck. Shall we go?
Yeah, we better if we're going to make that movie.
No movie tonight, Joe. I'd rather go to the Blue Whale.
The Blue Whale? Well, your mother'd shoot me if I took you back there again.
Well, then we won't tell her, right?
Carolyn, I think you'd be better off going to a movie.
You manage with your monsters, Vicky, and I'll manage with mine.
You're not being very smart.
Now, what are you two talking about?
Just girl talk. Nothing important. Now, say goodnight to the nice lady, and let's go.
See you again soon.
Sure. Have fun.
Don't wait up for us.
I still don't think the Blue Whale's a very good idea.
Well, let's try it anyway.
Who is it? open the door, David, please.
I can't. I don't have a key.
But
I can't get in there. It's always locked.
But it was just open.
It's never open.
David, where does that door lead to?
The rest of the house. Aunt Elizabeth says it's been closed off for more than 50 years.
Does anyone ever go in there?
I told you. It's always locked.
But it was just unlocked. I saw it open.
It's never open. Maybe it was one of the ghosts. The house is full of them, you know.
That's nonsense.
It's not. I've seen them. And if you stay here long enough, you'll see one too. Have another present for you. Do you like to read magazines?
Sometimes. David, don't you know that there's no such thing as a ghost?
They hate everyone here. Didn't you know that?
Now, David, that's...
Here. It's all about building and fixing things.
It's very sweet of you.
Do you like my father?
Why, yes, I think he's a very nice man.
He hates you.
Why do you say that?
I know.
Now, David, that's not a very nice thing to say to
What's
someone.
your father like?
I told you, I don't know.
You mean you never saw him?
My father or my mother.
My mother's very pretty.
I'm sure she is.
Do you know Bert Devlin?
David, it's awfully hard to keep up with you. You go from ghost to...
Did you ever meet him?
Yes, I've met Mr. Devlin.
He hates my father. Did you know that?
David, why are you always talking about people hating other people?
Because they do. I bet I could be real good friends with Mr. Devlin.
I still think we ought to have gone to that movie.
Oh, come on. Don't be a party pooper.
All right, just one beer, and that's all.
Sometimes I think we don't know how to have a good time.
Well, just don't forget what happened last time we were in here.
Well, just don't punch anybody in the jaw and we'll be all right.
That's all we needed.
Isn't it funny, his being here?
Nothing funny about it.
Maybe we should ask him to join us.
What's the matter with you, Carolyn? You know how Devlin and your family feel about each other.
Oh, but that's all fixed up now. I didn't get a chance to tell you.
All I know is I just don't like the man.
After he kept you from being hurt?
Kept me from being...
Well, he broke up the fight, didn't he? Funny thing is, we didn't even know who he was.
Yeah, well, now I know, and I'd be a lot happier if I didn't have to see him again.
I think you'll have to.
Hi, kids. Out on the town?
Hello, Mr. Devlin.
Well, I didn't expect to see you back here tonight.
Neither did I.
Well, now that we are all here, how about my buying a cup of coffee?
Well, I think
Oh,
Carolyn
that's
and I...
very nice of you, Mr. Devlin. Matter of fact, why don't you join us?
Well, I don't want to be a fifth wheel.
Oh, that's all right. We just stopped in for a drink. Didn't we, Joe?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, then. I'll buy. Well, it certainly is a lot better than drinking alone. What do you have?
What you do is look for the nice things in people, not the bad things.
Most people aren't nice.
You're only 9 years old. How many people have you known?
Enough.
Poor David. You know, I think I'll get you a present.
You don't have to.
But I want to. Hey, you know what? When your father goes to town tonight, I'll give him some money so he can buy some of those magazines you like. Then I'll wrap them up in a ribbon and give them to you first thing in the morning.
You mean my father's going into town tonight?
Uh-huh.
Is he taking the car?
Well, he's not going to walk.
I don't want any presents. Thank you.
Where the Action Is made its debut 1 year ago with top recording stars performing where the fun is. Come along for a real good time next here on ABC. Dark Shadows is a Dan Curtis production.